What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another edition of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the City of Vineland. It is episode number 745 here on this Memorial Day weekend. KB coming at you solo dolo to get your summer started the right way. We got a fun episode for you. We're going to recap West Coast Phillies road trip, all that good stuff that I may or may not have predicted was going to happen all along. We are going to dive into the Phil's upcoming matchups against the Braves and the Brewers. There's some Rhys Hoskins rumors floating around that are kind of fan-made. I'll dive into those a little bit. I'll entertain the Rhys homecoming as he gets set to come to Philadelphia next weekend with the Brewers. We'll dive into some underground stats and info with the hit-by-pitch category for the Platinum Plunk, as by this time next week, we will crown our winners for the month of May. We will have one more show to conjure up stats and info, but next Sunday, we will crown our winners for the month of May in the Platinum Plunk standings. Plus, we'll dive into run differentials and all that good stuff. We'll also talk some Philadelphia Union and Philadelphia's newest superstar, CJ Kirst, as I record this on Monday afternoon. Just won a national championship, and I will get you all hyped up for CJ becoming the next big Philadelphia superstar that we should all be rooting for and getting behind as he gets set to head to training camp now and join our Philadelphia Waterdogs. But before I get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. So follow us on the socials at Underground PHI. You can follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod. I'll say it one more time for good measure. Subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find not only Underground Sports Philadelphia, but our entire catalog of podcasts that are on the network. And if you're an Apple Podcast user, be sure to check out the new channels section so you can check out and follow along, and you can favorite the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel so you stay up to date with all of our shows here at USP. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. We are currently at 1,061 subscribers. Let's get to 1,100. We've been stuck in this 1,060 area far too long. Let's get to 1,100. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And, guys, this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland. Yes, my hometown, the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city, Vineland, New Jersey, where it is always growing season.
At the Vineland Municipal Utilities, we understand that when our business community thrives, we all win. As a not-for-profit utility, our reliability, lower cost of operations, and flexibility in meeting customer needs make doing business in Vineland beneficial to your bottom line. What's more, we are able to do so while maintaining our commitment to environmental stewardship. We look forward to helping you achieve your business goals now and for years to come. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Fightin' Phils are at the top of Major League Baseball. They are sitting with a 34-19 record on the season, just a half game better than the Detroit Tigers. It is awesome that you all look like bozos. All you big, dumb slapsticks who declared the Phillies season over in April when they were 13-13. You all look like the biggest clowns I ever done seen. The Phillies finish off this 10-game stretch against the Pirates, which was the final series at home before this road trip, but against the Pirates, the Rockies, and the A's with a 9-1 record, which is exactly, I don't mean to sound like Cat Williams, this is exactly what I predicted on this here show right before the Pirates series. I said you got to sweep the Pirates, you got to sweep the Rockies, and at worst, you take 2 out of 3 from the Oakland A's. Yes, I said the Oakland A's. And that's exactly what the Phils did. They should have swept. They should have swept the A's, but I feel good being right there. You go 9-1 is difficult to do in Major League Baseball. We have lived through the West Coast stretch for the Phillies where they're playing when it's baseball after dark, Phillies after dark, and they go 3-4. They go 4-3 at best. They go 2-5 in a 7-game road trip. To go 6-1 coming off the heels of sweeping the Pittsburgh Pirates is huge for this team because so many of you thought that this team was just, they were cooked, they were done, and right now they sit 2 games up in the division over the New York Mets at 34-19, best record in baseball, half a game clear of the Detroit Tigers, who sit at 34-20. I don't know if Detroit plays today or not. But I will double check. I do think it is absolute lunacy that the Tigers did play today. So their game is already concluded and the Phillies still have the best record in baseball. I think it's absolute lunacy that Major League Baseball does not take advantage of it being a holiday and having every single team play. Like the fact that we scheduled the Phillies to be off today, I get they're coming back from the West Coast. But we got to do a little bit of better scheduling and make sure that every team is playing on a day off like this. To not have every team playing baseball today is crazy. But nonetheless, it's what baseball does. They find ways to just throw themselves 10 feet back when they should be going 100 million yards forward. Nonetheless, the Phillies do a damn good job over this past couple game stretch, coming off their first series loss at home to the St. Louis Cardinals and just overall series loss at home since July of 2024, to then go and sweep the Pirates on the heels of the Mick Abel game last Sunday, then to go to Colorado, win 9-3, win 7-4, win 9-5, win 2-0, and then Friday, battle back and beat the A's 4-3, Saturday, battle back, beat the A's in extra innings 9-6, and then you fall 5-4, which was unfortunate for Jesus Luzardo, who pitched extremely well. But to be on a 9-1 stretch, coming back home where you have been a much better team at home than you have been on the road. Granted, it's a lot more even now after this stretch where you're 17-11 on the road and you're 17-8 at home. Phillies are just dominating in all facets. They're the only team in the division who have a record above 500 on the road. They are one of 3 teams in the National League. One of 2 teams. No, 3. One of 3 teams in the National League who have an above 500 record on the road. It's the Phillies, the Cubs, and the San Francisco Giants. Dodgers are 500 on the road. They're playing damn good baseball. And I tweeted this during the game yesterday. I said, we're not talking nearly enough about how the Philadelphia Phillies have not one, but 2, count them, 2 National League Cy Young candidates in Zach Wheeler and Jesus Luzardo. We are not talking nearly enough about that. The fact that the Phillies have two guys who, at the end of the season, if they continue pitching the way that they are, could be finalists for the National League Cy Young. We have not had anywhere close to conversations like that since the 4 Aces featuring Joe Blanton. We have not had conversations regarding the Phillies having multiple Cy Young candidates since Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Roy Oswalt. And I always throw in Joe Blanton because he was the most underappreciated number 5 starter in all of baseball at that point. The fact that the Phillies have these two demons at the top of the rotation, the fact that they have Ranger Suarez pitching as well as he has been post his first game back from the injured list, the fact that they had Mick Abel come up from AAA and pitch the way he did last Sunday, the fact that Taijuan Walker has been so much better than he was in 2024. The fact that Christopher Sanchez has been everything and then some, and we aren't even nearly talking about him enough. It's unbelievable how I tried to tell everyone going into this season the biggest improvement the Phillies made was that they are going to have the best rotation in baseball, and nobody seemed to care. Nobody seemed to care that we were going to have the best, consistent, and dominant rotation in all of baseball. You know, some teams have 1, some teams have 2. The Phillies have Wheeler, Luzardo, Sanchez, Ranger, Nola when healthy, Taijuan Walker. They've had Mick Abel start a game. They'll have Andrew Painter in a month. This team has the best rotation in baseball, and it's not even close. And maybe, just maybe, you all will start to realize that the rotation is so pivotal for this team, coming off the heels of what happened last year, where it was Wheeler or bust in the postseason. It's fun having a damn good rotation. I'll tell you that. I feel like I'm in my childhood again. I feel like I'm back in high school watching the 4 Aces. Granted, it's not to that degree because Roy Halladay is one of the best pitchers we've ever seen in our lifetime. But guess what? Zach Wheeler's pretty damn close to that. Guess what? Jesus Luzardo, as I mentioned on Thursday's episode, has a chance to not only be a Cy Young candidate, but win Comeback Player of the Year. He surpassed his innings total from last season already. Granted, he was hurt, but he's already done it in 2 months' time. And he has been everything and then some you could have hoped for as a Phillies fan. It's awesome watching him pitch. And now you have a tough homestand against the Braves and the Brewers. Obviously, the Braves have kind of figured some things out. They're still 25-27. They're 9-18 away from Truist Park, so that's a benefit for you. But in terms of rotation-wise now, going into this series, the Phillies will have Ranger against Spencer Strider on Tuesday. Wednesday, it'll be Wheeler against A.J. Smith-Strauver. And on Thursday night game too, Powder Blues at night, Christopher Sanchez versus Chris Sale. And then the Brewers series, we'll have Taijuan Walker on Friday. Saturday, it'll be Luzardo. Sunday should be Wheeler. Or no, it'll be Ranger. Ranger on Sunday. This can really set up to be a prominent homestand for the Phillies. When you go Braves, Brewers, and then you got to go to Canada to play the Blue Jays, and then you go to Pittsburgh to play the Pirates again. And then the Cubs come to Philadelphia, and the Blue Jays come to Philadelphia. And then you hit the road to play the Marlins, not a good team, for 4. And then the Mets come to town. And a Sunday Night Baseball game is sprinkled in there. And then you go to Houston, and then you go to Atlanta, and then the Padres come to town. There's so much, like, positive outlook for this team. And it's so funny looking back at how people were reacting in April, how people were saying all Brandon Marsh does is bark and have wet hair. He's been incredible over his last 30-some-odd games since coming back from injury. If we take a look here at the old Phil's roster and take a look at what Brandon Marsh has been able to put together over the past 15 to 30 games, we go on over to Brandon Marsh here. Marshy in his last 15 games, 40 at-bats, has scored 7 runs, 13 hits, 4 RBI, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts, 1 stolen base. He's hitting .325. OBP at .386, slugging .425. In his last 7 games, 19 at-bats, 4 runs scored, 7 hits, 1 RBI, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 stolen base, hitting .368, on-base percentage of .429, slugging .421. It's pretty damn good if you ask me. I just don't understand why we have to do this, like, duke it out and pick sides. You're either Team Marsh or you're Team Rojas. They're both on the fucking team. We should be supporting both of them. And guess what? They're both playing very well. They're doing what they're supposed to do very well. Isn't that what you want? You want a complete team, correct? Like, that's the whole premise of team sports. We're supposed to be rooting for the team. It's not an individual sport, last time I checked. Baseball is a team sport. It's a team effort. It takes more than one guy to win a game. And boy, let me tell you, Brandon Marsh is the sole reason the Phillies won that series against the A's with that throw from center field to throw out Brent Rooker at the plate. Reminded me a whole hell of a lot of Shane Victorino saving Brad Lidge's perfect save streak. It's been real quiet on the Brandon Marsh slander front. It's been real quiet on the slander front of guys like Max Kepler, on the front of Trey Turner, on the front of Alec Bohm. It's been real hush-hush lately, hasn't it? It's almost like baseball is such a game of streaks, and it's unpredictable. And it's almost like we shouldn't be treating every fucking baseball game like it's a goddamn football game. Because guess what? The Philadelphia Phillies are the best fucking team in Major League Baseball. It's been real hush-hush, though. No one's been complaining lately. I wonder why. Team sport. Guys who have stepped up in the absence of other guys. Max Lazar the other night getting his first career Major League save. What a dog. Orion Kirkering looks like he's rounding back into form. Now, Matt Strom needs to work on his walks because there's been way too many of those this season for sure, and he's come out and said that. He said that after Sunday's game. But, man, like, it's crazy that so many of you, and I'm not talking to our loyal listeners because I know you're the real ones and you truly understand semantics of baseball, but there's so many of you on social media. There's so many of you in the traditional media who just completely forget how baseball works, and it makes me chuckle and laugh when you all look absolutely stupid. Alec Bohm has his batting average damn near 300. Nobody's saying a fucking word about him. He's been putting the ball in play, 2-out RBIs. He's been hitting dinghies. Real hush-hush. Haven't heard anybody clamoring to go get Nolan Arenado, old man Arenado, like you were in April. Absolute slapsticks. It makes me laugh. It makes me chuckle. Before I keep it pushing, I want to give a tip of the cap, brought to you by our friends at 47. Wearing my 47 Phil's hitch style rope hat right now, one of my favorites, genuinely, in my collection. We love 47 here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. They are truly my hat of choice. They're dropping new hats, new collections every single week, it feels like. They have their Memorial Weekend sale going on right now. You buy one sale item, you get an extra 20% off. 2 sale items, an extra 25% off. 3+ sale items, you get an extra 30% off. So check out all the sales. Check out their City Connect capsules, the Safe Bet collection, the Diamond Cut 47 hitch, which is my favorite. I have an Eagles and a Phillies hat in my cart right now that fit those bills. There's just so much that 47 has to offer. Upgrade your wardrobe with our friends at 47. Use our link in the description and get free shipping on all orders when you shop with our friends at 47. Again, free shipping on all orders when you shop with our friends at 47, when you join the 47 family. And we thank 47 for being a proud partner of the podcast. Upcoming, though, Phil's get the Braves at home, coming off a little rest. The boys are back. I think they got back late last night, so they've been home all day today, which is good. Rest up. You got the Braves. It's going to be a hostile environment for sure. When you have Spencer Strider kicking off the series, it's bound to be just a magnificent vibe at Citizens Bank Park. Spencer Strider versus Ranger Suarez just brings me memories of the 2022 postseason. So if you're going on Tuesday, and there's reports that both Guy Gaudreau, Johnny Gaudreau's father, and Howie Roseman will be throwing out ceremonial pitches at that game, which is super exciting. That comes courtesy of the boy, Phil's Tailgate, on the tweet machine. I want Citizens Bank Park to be rocking this week. You have 2 very good teams coming into town with the Braves. And sure, the Braves are under 500, but they still have talent. Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. And you have the Brewers coming to town too. And when you look at the Brewers, they're 26-28. Similar vibe to the Atlanta Braves. But the Brewers have been hot. They've been finding their stride a little bit. Obviously they split a series with the Pirates, which is not ideal, but they've been finding their way back after a slow start to the season, and there's a lot of not a lot riding, but I want to tip my cap from 47 to the fans at Citizens Bank Park. I want y'all to show out. I want you to pop out for this series. If you're going down to Citizens Bank Park Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all night games, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, make it feel like the playoffs. It's Memorial Day weekend. We're at that first checkpoint like I've talked about. This is the first checkpoint for your baseball team, is Memorial Day, to kind of see where you're at, where you're sitting in the standings, where your team is performing. And guess what? The Phillies are passing with flying colors. They're on record pace right now at the Memorial Day check-in point. But let's make it feel like a playoff environment. Let's make the Braves feel uncomfortable. Let's make the Brewers feel uncomfortable. Make it a hostile environment. You have elite pitching matchups both series. Let's make it a party. Let's make it a party at Citizens Bank Park. We've had some weird weather games to start the year. It's supposed to be some interesting weather, I think, this coming week. So we'll see how things actually shake out. Tuesday's going to be beautiful. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to be rain, allegedly, in the forecast, so plan accordingly if you are going to the games. But it's like one of those things I want to see this team just... I want the fans to really just take in how awesome this run is going to be, how fun this run is going to be this year. Like, this is the beginning of what can be a special summer. You know, I know last year did not go according to plan, but guess what? That's last year. I don't care about last year. This team is different. They're another year experience together. You have a different pitching staff with Sanchi taking the next step. Luzardo is here. Taiwan is healthy. Ranger is healthy. I don't want to hear about last year anymore. We are so far removed from last year that there's no need to discuss it anymore. And when we're looking at this team, and obviously the Jose Alvarado news that broke last week put this team in a different spot than where we thought they would be just a week ago, you're going to have to approach the bullpen sooner rather than later. The bullpen is thin. It's one of those things that they definitely have to go out and find some guys, whether it be internal or external. But there is this rumor floating around, and I think it's primarily just like fan rumor because the Brewers are still very much, in the hunt, I'd say, for the wild card. And it is one of those things that they're in a division with the Cubs and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals have kind of surprised a lot of people. And right now, in terms of the wild card, if I open my MLB app, because they already have the wild card standings, the Brewers are... Where are the Brewers? There they are. The Brewers are 4.5 back of the final wild card right now, which they are also 4.5 back in the division. Because right now the Padres and Cardinals are tied for the third wild card in terms of, I don't even know how, because the Cardinals have a worse win percentage, but nonetheless, I digress. The Brewers are kind of in a weird limbo spot, and a lot of people are talking about Rhys Hoskins and the Phillies going and getting a guy who can kind of flip a game on its head, and Rhys is having a good year this year for sure. When you look at his numbers, he's hitting .288 in 51 games. 7 home runs, 47 hits in 163 at-bats, 29 RBI. He's got an .862 OPS. Now, Rhys is signed through this year. He's got a 2026 mutual option on his contract, too. He is 32 years old. I would love to see Rhys Hoskins back in a Phillies uniform. Do not get it twisted. He's one of my favorite Phillies of this era ever. He's just he was one of the glimmers of hope when the Phillies were going through their rebuild, and when he came up to be a spark in 2018, it was amazing watching what he was doing. Now, does it make logistical sense for Rhys Hoskins to be on the Phillies? Because you have the notion like, okay, you can play Rhys at first base, you can play Rhys at DH, you can put Kyle Schwarber in left field if you want to. That is all fine and dandy. If Rhys is playing first base, you're more than likely taking Bryce Harper out of the lineup, or you're putting Bryce Harper in right field, where he has not played full-time in quite some time. Now, I'm not saying Bryce wouldn't be capable of it, but on top of that, you're also taking Nick Castellanos out of the lineup, which to me would be a mistake, because Nick Castellanos this season is hitting .271 with 4 home runs and 29 RBI, 55 hits. He's having one of his best starts to a season in his Phillies career. You look at just the overall numbers. This is right now in his Phillies career since he came over in 2022. He's right on pace for his best batting average in a Phillies uniform. His OBP is the best it's been in his Phillies career. His slugging percentage is a little bit down, but still time to fix that. His OPS is right around where it's kind of been in his Phillies career. And he's a guy that I think removing his bat from the lineup would be a mistake. Not saying, he can't have a day off here and there, because Nick played 162 games last year. He's played in every game this year. He's the ultimate Iron Man. But just trying to find the right place for Rhys to play and making a trade that you would probably have to give up a significant amount for a guy like Rhys Hoskins, making it make sense is where I'm struggling. And I'm not saying I wouldn't welcome Rhys Hoskins back on this team. I'm saying trying to find where he would fit in an everyday lineup. Is he a power bat off the bench? I think Rhys Hoskins is a little bit more than that. It's just a lot of rearranging puzzle pieces and trying to make it work, but it's an interesting thought. And, to have a guy like Rhys Hoskins come back to Philadelphia and finish his Phillies career the way that it properly should have been finished, not, throwing out a ceremonial first pitch in a playoff game due to a knee injury, actually getting a chance to play in front of the fans before leaving in free agency would be very cool. I just don't know if it makes total sense. And I stand corrected. Rhys came up in 2017, not 2018. His first full year was 2018. So while I like the thought and I like the idea, I just don't know how logistical it is, especially when you need bullpen pitching for this team. I would love to have a bench bat, though, for this Phillies team. It's one of those things. Looking at this Phillies bench right now is scary, simply because, when you look at your depth, it's Rafael Marchand, who has been lackluster to say the least this year. It's Weston Wilson, who has been pretty underwhelming this season so far. He's hitting .227. He's got a .684 OPS in 22 at-bats. I know he's coming off of an injury, but pretty lackluster, I would say, so far. Edmundo Sosa, who has been great. And then you have the flip-flop of Marsh and Rojas. But outside of that, there's not much else. It's Kepler, every so often coming off the bench. But your bench is really Marchand, who I'm not impressed with at all. Weston Wilson, who's been very underwhelming. Edmundo Sosa, who is a star. And either Johan Rojas or Brandon Marsh. That's not a great bench. There's definitely going to have to be some sort of overhaul of the bench, I would say. You're going to have to go and get a bench piece at the deadline, because this bench, there's nobody that can come off in a pinch hit situation that scares you outside of Sosa. And Sosa's not even like that prototype of player. So it's one of those things that you got to figure out the bullpen first and foremost, and who is going to be in this pen. Can Jordan Romano figure it out? Can Matt Strom figure it out with the walks? Is Orion Kerkering back? There's so much that you need to figure out, especially in the absence of Jose Alvarado. You're going to have to probably get 2 bullpen pieces plus some sort of bench bat for this team. And I don't know if you're going to be able to afford Rhys Hoskins with those other pressing needs. So it's going to be weird. It's going to be tough. But I do like the fan-made rumors for trades. And if you do have a trade rumor that you want to dish out, as we sit here at this first checkpoint of the 2025 Major League Baseball season, leave me a voicemail at speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. That is where you can leave a voicemail. That voicemail line is like AJ Brown. It's open, always open, 24/7, 365. So leave me a voicemail, speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. It is linked in the description of both the audio and video versions of the show. But let's get to a little bit of underground stats and info. But before I do, I want to talk to you guys about our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, you want to gear up for the Phils this summer. You want to get some Union gear up for the Birds, the Sixers, the Flyers, or rep your favorite Philadelphia sports podcast, Underground Sports Philadelphia. No better place to do it than with our friends at PHI Apparel Company. With their unique designs for all, there's no doubt in our minds you will stand out in the crowd. Go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND, and you'll get 10% off your entire merch order from our friends at PHI Apparel Company. Again, that's phiapparel.co, code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your entire order from PHI Apparel Company. Stand out in the crowd with the official merch partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Let's take a look at how the run differentials are looking around the league. The Philadelphia Phillies sit with a nice right plus 42 run differential, sitting at 34-19, 9-1 in their last 10. They've scored 260 runs, which is the most in the division by far, and they've surrendered 218. The New York Mets are 32-21. They have a plus 59 run differential. They've scored 231. They've surrendered 172. The Braves are 25-27. They have scored 216. They've surrendered 205 for a plus 11 run differential. The Washington Nationals have scored 225 runs and given up 273 for a minus 48 run differential. The Miami Marlins are 21-30, and the Nationals are 24-29, by the way. The Marlins are 21-30. They've scored 210 runs. They've surrendered 285 on the season for a minus 75 run differential. The Cubs are sitting at a plus 91 differential. They've scored 321 runs, the most in the National League. Is that the most in baseball? Yes, the most in baseball, the Chicago Cubs, but they've surrendered 230, so they have a plus 91 run differential. The Cardinals have a plus 43. The Reds are 2 games under 500, but have a plus 25 run differential. The Brewers are 26-28 with a minus 5 run differential. See, run differential matters in those tiebreakers, baby. The Pirates are 19-35 and have a negative 67 run differential. The Dodgers at the top of the NL West by a game and a half. They have a plus 59 run differential. The Giants with a plus 42. The Padres with a plus 17. The Diamondbacks with a plus 1. And the Colorado Rockies have a whopping negative 171 run differential. They have surrendered 343 runs, scored just 172. They're 9-44, which, let's see, in 53 games, they have surrendered 6.47 runs per game, just about, on a 162-game average pace. They're on pace to give up 1,048 runs on the year. That is just crazy. We move to the American League. The Yankees have a plus 107 run differential. The Tampa Bay Rays have a plus 12. The Boston Red Sox with a plus 18. The Blue Jays with a negative 27. The Phillies will be seeing them pretty soon. The Orioles with a minus 95 run differential. The Detroit Tigers, who are at the top of the American League, 35-20, have a plus 81 run differential. The Cleveland Guardians with a negative 11 run differential, even though they're 6 games over 500. The Twins are also 6 games over 500, but have a plus 34 run differential. The Kansas City Royals are 4 games over 500. They have a plus 2. And the Chicago White Sox have a minus 50. And then we go to the AL West, the silliest division in baseball. The Mariners with a plus 19, the Astros with a plus 24, the Rangers with a minus 11, the Angels with a minus 50, and the Oakland A's, yes, I said the Oakland A's, have a minus 77, which they have given up 308 runs on the year. So in 54 games, let's see here. multiply that by 162. The A's are on pace for 924, so not quite the Rockies' pace there, but nonetheless, 308 runs at Memorial Day is not ideal. And those are your run differentials around the National League East and Major League Baseball. And, of course, guys, we got to check in on the Platinum Plunk Award, which is the award standings that we are watching here at Underground Sports Philadelphia to keep track of the overall team, player, and Phillies player that have been hit by the most pitches throughout the season. And as we look at the individual players, leading the way in the National League is Milwaukee Brewers star, third baseman, second baseman, infielder, Caleb Durbin, who's been hit by 8 pitches so far this season. And leading the American League and all of baseball with 9 is last year's reigning champion, Randy Arozarena, who's been hit by 9 pitches so far this year. We'll take a look at the Phillies player next. We had Bryce Harper join the fold this weekend. He went from 0 to being right in the mix for the lead, but Kyle Schwarber still leading the way with 4. Alec Bohm with 3. Max Kepler now with 3. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Nick Castellanos have all been hit by 2. And Bryson Stott has been hit by 1, leaving JT Realmuto, Johan Rojas, Brandon Marsh, and Mundo Sosa, Rafael Marchand, Weston Wilson as the only guys left who have not been hit by a pitch this season that are on the active roster. Now we take a look at the overall team. Leading the way, the New York Mets with 32. The Minnesota Twins right behind at 31. The Seattle Mariners have been hit by 28 pitches this season. 9 of those Randy Arozarena. The Houston Astros are at 26. Coming in a 4-way tie at 25 are the Arizona Diamondbacks, the New York Yankees, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Washington Nationals. In a tie with 24 are the Orioles and the Tigers. The Red Sox and the Angels have been hit by 23. The Brewers have been hit by 22. The Guardians by 21. The Reds, Dodgers, and Pirates have been hit by 20, and that is league average. Below league average teams, the Royals at 19, as well as the Rangers and the Blue Jays. The Phillies all alone is the only team with 17. The Braves and the Rockies have been hit by 16. The Giants by 15. The Cubs by 14. The Marlins and Padres by 13. The Rays by 12. The White Sox by 11. And the Oakland A's by 10. And those are your Platinum Plunk Award standings here on Memorial Day, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com, use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, Delaware, and New Jersey areas. You can also find Kenwood Beer at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And as always, guys, whether it's a holiday weekend or just a regular day of the week, please drink responsibly. Let's keep it pushing. As CJ Kirst and the Philadelphia Waterdogs are gearing up for the 2025 season. CJ Kirst just finished his collegiate career as I sit here and record this on Monday afternoon as Cornell wins the NCAA Men's Division I lacrosse title on the tails of CJ Kirst's sock trick in the Natty. 6 goals for CJ. Finishes with 82 goals this season, which ties a Division I record. We need to be championing CJ Kirst, okay? The fact that Philadelphia is the home of not only CJ Kirst, but in the National Lacrosse League, the home of Brennan O'Neill. We need to embrace that we have 2 generational superstars playing lacrosse in this city. I know lacrosse is not a top 4 major sport, but guess what, guys? The Waterdogs have one of the most exciting offenses coming this season. Led by Michael Sowers, Philadelphia's own Michael Sowers, Kieran McCardle, newly drafted CJ Kirst, newly drafted Jake Taylor. This offense is going to be so much fun, okay? The Waterdogs are going to score. They're going to score a lot. They're going to be highlight reel after highlight reel. And I haven't even named off nearly enough of the guys that are going to be contributing to goal scoring this year. We are doing our damnedest, okay? We're going to integrate the Waterdogs into this show a ton. We're working on some things with the PLL to integrate them even more into the show because we want you guys to understand that, like, they're one of Philadelphia's teams. The Waterdogs are Philadelphia's pro outdoor lacrosse team. And with the guys and the personalities that are showcased on this roster, we would be doing a disservice to not talk about them. And seeing CJ Kirst do what he did in that national championship game after being blanked by Penn State in the semifinal, we need to be full steam ahead. Get ready to rock and roll with the Philadelphia Waterdogs. We're going to be talking Waterdogs a ton on this show this year. I will be up in Albany this coming weekend for opening weekend. The Waterdogs have a week 1 bye, unfortunately. But that'll give CJ Kirst some time to rest and get healthy following a lengthy tournament run. But I'm excited. I'm excited to have the PLL back. We're gonna be doing so much content, and there's a lot to look forward to. Okay, it's going to be so much fun this year, and CJ Kirst is a generational talent. We have a generational talent calling Philadelphia his sports home. And we should be super excited about that. It's genuinely so rare that a team that was already littered with so much talent gets to add a talent like CJ Kirst. So the fact that we get to do that and pair him with, Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle and Connor Kelly and Jack Hanna and Jake Taylor, who came in the draft with CJ. And we get to pair them with, guys like Mikey Bohm and Zach Courier and Thomas McConvey and Mikey Schlosser. And we have guys like Dylan Hess coming into the fold and Charlie Hayes and Matt Witcher and Christian Scarpello. And the defense that this team is going to have is super exciting. I'm just very, very pumped for what is to come for this team and the fact that they are loaded top to bottom is very, very exciting. So everyone should be pumped because I certainly am pumped about what is to come for the Philadelphia Waterdogs, and congratulations to CJ Kirst and Cornell on winning the national championship. One last bit here. It is brought to you by our friends over at Biñho. We love Biñho here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. It is the next big tabletop game for your tailgates, your man caves, your parties, your she sheds, wherever. You break out a Biñho board, you're going to be the talk of your event. It is paper football meets foosball for the next big tabletop flicking experience. They just dropped their officially licensed Chelsea board on Friday, so all you Chelsea fans, go get your officially licensed Chelsea Biñho board. And if you're a Union fan, you can get your Philadelphia Union board. Plus, they have so many just different customizable options, different boards for you to have to make sure you are enjoying yourselves with your parties and friends, family, and everything else. So use our link in the description and shop with our friends at Biñho, and you will get 10% off your entire order when you use code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout. Again, that's code BiñhoBennett62 at checkout for 10% off your entire order from our friends at Biñho. The Philadelphia Union are coming off the heels of a 3-3 draw to Inter Miami. Not the ideal result, as they were up 3-1 at one point in this game and should have walked away victorious. But they draw 3-3 as my computer decides it doesn't want to load the page. It was a good effort. It was an unfortunate game that slipped away from them, very much like that Columbus game a couple weeks ago. I just I wanted to see them win it because there's a lot of phony soccer fans around here. They're not real soccer fans. They are pop culture soccer fans. And I'm not saying I'm the ultimate diehard, but I do support and appreciate the Philadelphia Union a lot. There's a lot of pop culture soccer fans, though, that pop out. They're like your Yankees, Lakers, Cowboys, Duke fans that are also Messi fans. And I am a huge Messi fan, the player. But guess what? When you're playing against my team, I'm not going to be your fan. And the fact that I saw way too many people, I know, showing up in either flat-out Inter Miami gear, which you probably didn't even know that team existed until Messi arrived there a couple years ago, or they showed up in Union gear and had an Argentina Messi jersey with them. Just very weird optics. And I get Messi is a global icon, okay? Don't get it twisted. I understand that. But if you claim to be a Union fan and you show up with a Messi jersey, I question your fandom. I question your fandom. You can still support Messi, but if you're a Union fan, you will not catch me at all wearing a Messi jersey to go and watch my first place Philadelphia Union, who are still sitting atop the Eastern Conference in first place with 30 points. Like, that was a huge game. And to see the amount of people who I know personally claim to be Union fans showing up with Messi gear on to a Union home game was just so blasphemous to me. Just so weird. Just so weird. But nonetheless, the Union are still in first place. They play again on Wednesday at Toronto, and then play again on Saturday at Dallas. And then they have a bit of a break before coming home on June 14th against Charlotte. And then they play again June 25th at Chicago, and then June 29th at Columbus, July 5th at Nashville. So last home game for a while will be that June 14th game, because then they have the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal is at home on July 8th. That is now set in stone. They'll host the New York Red Bulls. And then July 12th, they will also be at home for regular season play against the New York Red Bulls. So lots of intriguing and interesting matchups upcoming for the Union here, but nonetheless, still in first place. Just weird that so many people thought it was okay to show up with Messi gear and they claim to be Union. Like, I'm questioning. I know you. I see you. It's just very weird to me. Just so very weird. That's all I got for you guys on this one. Make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We're on every social platform. You can follow me on Twitter at KBICZL311, KBICZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify. Please, as Sabrina Carpenter once said, leave a 5-star review. It helps this show continue to grow. It helps every show on our network continue to grow. So please keep on subscribing on Apple and Spotify and leaving those 5-star reviews. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It's all on our YouTube channel. Let's get to 1,100 subscribers. Let's get to 1,200. Let's get to 2,000. So keep subscribing, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And guys, whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode 745 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. Summer is here. The Phillies are in first place at our first season mile marker checkpoint of the season, and I'm feeling good. We will be back later this week, myself and Harrison, gearing up for a recap of what's to come in this Phillies Braves series, hopefully talking about a Ranger Suarez win against Spencer Strider, talking Game 2 of that series, previewing Game 3 a little closer, getting ready for the weekend against the Brewers, gearing up for the Waterdogs. We might have a Waterdogs season prediction on the show on Thursday, don't you know? We'll be gearing up for that, plus a whole lot more. We'll be talking Union. We'll be talking whatever comes to mind, okay? But let's have ourselves a great week. Summer is here. Let's go. But thanks for tuning into this episode. Appreciate the hell out of you guys for always supporting us. And we'll catch you on Thursday, myself and Harrison, with another episode. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.